See you back after 2 weeks of absence. Thank you
Yeah.
very much. So, my heartfelt thanks to all the beautiful souls who are here on this platform. And it's a honor for me that I'm sharing this beautiful, not only medical knowledge, and it's been a great journey for me because I'm also preparing. In fact, today's topic is part two. There is one more part three as well because today I can't complete the part two. So I thought let me go with the part three, which I will be probably going on with the next schedule. But the topic is quite interesting, and then it goes quite detailed, wherein we are looking at sharing information so that people understand the concept of wellness. So, saying that today's part two, let me start over again and a recap just for such of those who just want to know what we discussed last week. It's basically we discussed something about the pineal gland, which helps us to produce melatonin, and there are sleep. There are four stages, and we have the REM and the NREM sleep, wherein NREM basically carrying all the information which you are stored behind, brings it down to the cortex and saves it all. And then the second one will be cleaning. So a lot of metabolic waste and the emotional waste, especially having grudge, having hatredness, all this, it gets cleansed during the NREM sleep, which is between 9 to 10:30. This is the time where your brain and your body will automatically clean it up. So other than then we go to the REM sleep, it's about dreaming and the filing system. The filing system is basically what you did for the whole day. The brain automatically will actually file those whatever necessary information in your brain in a particular files. For example, if you have hated someone or you had some anger towards someone, there is a separate file called anger file. It will go and store it there of that particular person. It is stored there. And if it is love vibration, happy vibration, compassion vibration, or passion vibration, there are separate files. It will start filing there. So just imagine in a day, it's you who have to think what are the ways you are thinking, what are the positive thinking, what are the negative. It's all about you. And do not tell why God gave me this problem. It is all your thought patterns which get saved in your brain, and then the same thing will be attracted towards you. If, for example, your file is a very big file of hatredness, anger, you will automatically attract all those people who are all angry, who are all disappointed in life, who have seen more failures in life. It will be like that. But the moment you are a very happy person, you will start meeting up with only happy people. It's an automatic phenomenon. Birds of the same feather flock together. Then the third one is invention. So you want to invent something also happens during the REM sleep. So what is the timing between early morning 3 to 4:30 is something running inside your brain, especially innovations. Provided you, when you consciously look for it. For example, you're searching for something when you're in a conscious mind, that's during your daytime. What will happen is you will get all the answers in your REM sleep as to where exactly is that particular information, or maybe the moment you wake up in the morning, you will start getting to know, okay, fine, today this is what I'm going to do. This is, or maybe you just open your phone, the information will be the same. Like recently what happened was there one of my very close family friend, he came and discussed with me that, doctor, early morning, suddenly on one particular day, 4:30 in the morning, he received, when he opened the phone itself, he received a message saying that something to do with the abundance financial vibration, and it's all about the billionaires. So he was telling, I never looked for it, but I did get this message. Now, after that, what happened was, then I said, okay, fine, let me also look into that particular aspect. What exactly is that vibration of all these billionaires and people who have financial abundance? I told him, and then it was finished. Now, after 2 days, early in the morning, I am opening my phone. I'm getting the same message on my phones talking about the same exact situation. Now, you tell me, how come my phone also is bringing the same information? Is there someone listening to me indirectly and bringing in the information, or it is because my thought patterns already sent to the cosmic energy, and that is in turn bringing in that particular information? So finally, what I would tell you is, It's all what you want in your life is what you will get. That means to say, if at all today you're a very happy person, that means you have innovated or invented or you have invested your time in that particular vibration of your life, and then you are getting it. So very, very important, start your day with happiness, and then, start looking at good things of whatever you have in your life. Don't look at the negative part or the things which you don't have. Just ignore it and start moving forward. Like I have one person who has a severe uh, pain in her joints. Now, especially she cannot walk. Now, what happens is whenever she sees me or whenever she messages me, she will only talk about the pain, pain, and pain. So I always tell her, if you go on telling that you have the pain, you have the pain. But there is one argument she will always tell me is, Doctor, I'm having the pain. That's the reason I'm sharing with you. I said, I don't deny that you're having the pain, but what is that you need to do? So I was suggesting her, you need to look at the healing part of it. You need to say, thank you for their body. Have you ever thanked your body for whatever until today? A 60-year-old person and going through all this is what has happened in the past whatever number of years, going through those stages. So even though you are genuine in telling that you are having a pain, but what I would say is you need to overcome that and then start working on towards a solution. Now, other than that, the fourth important situation is consolidation. That means it becomes confirmed of whatever you're thinking is get confirmed by your brain, and it is locked in your filing system. So very important is what we understood was sleep deprivation leads to many problems, many diseases, and sleeping at 9 p.m. is an ideal this one, and 8 hours of sleep is good for most of our human beings. Now, why do we have to look at all these 8 hours of sleep and sleeping at 9 a.m.? And in today's world, definitely, I don't think we all will be able to go back to bed at 9 p.m. because our work schedules are quite different, including me. It is a little difficult, but I would say probably our bodies will adapt a little bit, but we have to pay the penalty in whatever way we have to, because as we go through the process of the slides, I will show you how important we have to go with the flow of our bodily balancing. Saying that, when you're looking at the cell function and light, there is a lot of connection between that. Now, when you look at our cell function, there is something called the night and the day we have. Okay, now during the night, we have the pineal gland, as I told you in the last week, and that pineal gland will produce melatonin, and melatonin is a basically hormone which will actually, and which has an antioxidant property. So when you look at this particular photo here, you can see a mitochondria, which is something inside the cell, and it is an organ wherein it will produce the ATP or the energy. The currency of our energy is the ATP, which is produced by your mitochondria. Now, whenever there is a cell function happening, there will be a little bit of oxidative stress happening. Now, when there is an oxidative stress happening and we do not address that particular oxidative stress, now over a period of time, you will start getting the diseases. Now, once you start getting a disease, what happens is you go to any hospital, they are going to only treat the disease. Like what you see, your less optimal health conditions like inflammation, your cancer, your dementia, your diabetes, your blood pressure, learning ability, all these are all happening because of a little bit of oxidative stress which is happening. But today, if you look at, a lot of children are also going through this problem of oxidative stress. Why? Because of the food habits, environmental pollution, then our sleeping habits, and the use of gadgets. All these are all playing a very, very important role in our day-to-day life, which in turn is a reason for a lot of disabilities, diseases, and our optimal health is actually totally gone. Why? Because there are a lot of things which we are not following in our day-to-day life. Now, saying that, basically, if you look at, I will give you an example of a car. Now, the car has some engine issues. For example, maybe a less of oil, or maybe the radiator has less of water. What happens is the engine gets heated up. Now, what happens is when the engine gets heated up, at least you have a meter where it shows that the engine is heated up. Now, what you need to do? Whatever said and done, wherever you are going, what will happen? Even though you might be going to an important function or an important meeting, you will stop the car once the radiator temperature goes up, you have to stop the car, then wait for the car to cool down, correct? Now, cooling system, even though we have the radiator coolants, we have the synthetic engine oil, which is much more smoother for the engine. And there are a lot of things happening which is inside the engine, which you and I don't go into the details. The moment temperature goes up, what we do, we just stop the car. But you just imagine what you're seeing down there is a mitochondria. Mitochondria is an engine, is basically the engine of the cell. If it overworks and if it starts fuming, what will happen? Will it call up and tell you that, hey man, I'm actually fuming, la, come on, rest down, come on, go to sleep, come on, you need to eat some vitamins, you are supposed to eat some antioxidants? No, the cell is not going to talk to you and tell you. Why? Because there are 50 trillion cells, and the 50 trillion cells, for it to really get into a problem, it will take a lot of time. It will take a lot of time, sometimes many, many years, by the time you realize that you have a problem. But everybody, right from day one of being born on this planet Earth, we all go through a little bit of oxidative stress. Now, if the oxidative stress is balanced, life becomes very beautiful. So here what's happening is, when you have an oxidative stress of a cell, what happens? It creates a dysfunction of the cell. Now, dysfunction of a cell means, you might think, if one cell doesn't function, what's a big deal, right? Now, just imagine the same thing. You imagine your heart cell. You know, there are millions of heart cells around to form that whole heart. Now, slowly, one by one, if the cell starts dying and it doesn't rejuvenate, or it is not given the due energy, not given the due vitamins, nutrition for it, what will happen? It will die. Now, once the cell dies, your whole performance of your heart will come down. Yes or no? Many times you go to the cardiologist, when they do a scanning, what they will tell you is, your heart is functioning only 30%, only 40%, only 60%, 70%. Like this, they will give you a percentage. Now imagine a person's heart function is only 25%. He won't be able to climb the stairs. He will be breathless. So when you look at that, we are talking about cell dysfunction happens slowly. It is not immediately or in a one day it happens. It takes time. So what we need to understand is, hence, it needs a cooling system. It's just like what you need to do when the car gets heated up. You stop the car, wait for some time, and then if water is less, you put the water. If the engine oil is less, you pour in the engine oil. Or if there is any other dysfunction, look into it. Maybe it is a radiator fan not working. You will look into it and rectify it. And then once again, you start the car, it will automatically start functioning. But here what happens is, in our body, how are you going to go inside the cell and say, hey, are you heated up? Or let me put a little bit of coolant for you and then cool it down. Or maybe you need some engine oil. Let me change the engine oil. Or we are not going to do all that. So what is happening is, there is a cooling system which is happening in our body automatically by our body. Now, melatonin is one of the hormone which is produced by the pineal gland, which is an antioxidant, which is a cooling system for your mitochondria. Now, this happens at nighttime, right? Nighttime, when you go to sleep, provided you sleep by 9 o'clock and you switch off all the lights, and then you sleep off by 9 o'clock. So by 10:30, you're in a deep sleep, and so that the pineal gland will start producing the melatonin hormone. This is for the night time. So what happens? If you do not sleep at the right time, what will happen? Your cooling system will not be functioning, isn't it? Because when you are awake, your melatonin won't be produced. If melatonin is not produced, your engine gets heated up. I'm talking about your cell. Your cells start getting heated up. Now, how are they going to cool down? They cannot cool down on their own. You may say, doctor, I'm going to sleep the next day, whole day I'm going to sleep. No way. It is a standard protocol that you're supposed to sleep at nighttime, not at the daytime. Now, the situation is, just because we are being paid a little more money, how many of you and how many of us, how many of the youngsters are working overnight, especially for a foreign company, an MNC, like from European countries? They will make you to work all through your night, and then those guys will be sleeping at night time, but daytime they'll be working. But for you and me, as an Asian country person, what we do, it's okay lah, because they're paying you a good salary. But do you know how much of your engine gets heated up? How much of your cooling system is totally screwed up? And then finally, when you're in your 40s or 50s, when you start getting diseases, you think the company you work for will provide you all the required medical facilities for recouping your cooling system. No way, nobody is going to. Now, on one side, the cooling system of the night time is done. Okay, then how about the daytime? Who is going to work on your cooling system? Now, daytime, it is a totally a new science. Not many people know. There are few scientists working on it, wherein the melatonin production is by exposing yourself to sunlight, especially to the near infrared rays. You would have heard of infrared rays. You would have heard of far infrared rays. There is something called near infrared rays. I think this is something amazing, something beautiful. Now, here, that means you're supposed to expose yourself to the sun rays so that it directly sends the light energy, which gets converted to the energy of what you need to produce melatonin. It's automatically happening by the nature. It is created like that. But what are we doing? In the daytime, when you do a night duty and come back, what happens? You will be sleeping in the daytime, wherein you are supposed to take the sunlight and then probably work. But of course, see, there will be a lot of arguments, situations where you might say, hey, doc, we are in a country where it is totally cold, winter season. There is no sun at all. Of course, there are other methods of exposing yourself to the light. Now, there are a lot of artificial lights available to mimic the sun rays. And then, of course, we can work all on that. But imagine those days, what they used to do. They used to balance the journey along with whatever they used to have and then move forward. But in spite of all that, they never had many diseases like what we are all going through. It's okay. What we need to understand is, number one, let's go into the little bit detail about what exactly I'm talking about the light system. Now, if you look at the solar, it emits the light, which is actually a source of energy for not only for us, for animals, for plants, and for many other things. Sun is very important. Now, when you look at the sun, there are something called the solar spectrum. What you see here is a solar spectrum wherein the visible light, what you see in with your naked eye is your visible light. Okay. Now, when you're talking about the visible light, can you see here? It is only 39% of the sun rays is visible to your eyes. So the remaining 60% of the light is not visible to your eyes. Very simple, huh? 40%. Let's assume 40%, 60%. You're not seeing the 60% of light. But when you look at the little bit detail on the right side, if you see the wavelength of the sun rays, you can see 400 nanometers to 760 is a visual, wherein you can see the light with your eyes. But if it goes beyond 760 to the 1400 nanometers, what you see is it is called also infrared A, IRA and IRB. If it is more than 1400 to 3000, it is IRB, infrared B. Now, you look down, there is something called NIR. What is that? NIR is near infrared rays. Now, what is this near infrared rays? Is infrared A, that is alphabet A, they have put there, right? Now, between 760 to 1400 nanometers is the infrared rays from the sun. Now, what happens? Now, you are wearing a shirt and then you're going to the sun early in the morning, maybe around 8 o'clock, and the sun rays is quite bright, and it comes and falls on your shirt. Now, after a few seconds or maybe a few minutes, if you're just still standing in that sun, what happens is you will feel the heat on your skin. Now, the moment you feel the heat on your skin, that is the infrared A. That means it is the 760 nanometers to 1400 nanometers. Now, this is the light which we all need for us to produce melatonin in the daytime for our cellular cooling. Very important for the cellular cooling. We do have the daytime melatonin, which is also produced, and then which will automatically cool your system at the cellular level, at the mitochondria. Now, when you look at the infrared, it is almost 54%, But if you're looking at the infrared B and C and all, that is all on the little on the higher side. We are not talking about that because we are not looking at the health benefit. But on the other side, let's go to the left side. What you see is the ultraviolet rays. Now, ultraviolet rays, of course, you can't see it because it's beyond your visual spectrum. Now, what is the visual spectrum of this particular ultraviolet is below 400 and up to 290. That means it's between 300 to 400 nanometers is your ultraviolet. Even in ultraviolet, can you see ultraviolet A, ultraviolet B, and ultraviolet C? Okay. Now, anything from 290 to 320, you know, that 30 nanometers gap is there, right? That is a rays where you're talking about ultraviolet B. Now, for your vitamin D synthesis, this is very, very important. That's why when you're early in the morning, you expose yourself to the sun for a minimum of 30 seconds to maximum of 30 minutes in the morning is good enough for you to expose yourself for a vitamin D synthesis. And number one, when you're talking about vitamin D synthesis, of course, there are 400 functions of vitamin D3, right from your thyroid functions to your bone, to your calcium, to your kidney function. There are many functions. I'm not going to go into the details. So why I am showing you this is the visual spectrum of light plays such an important role in our life that we hardly expose ourselves to the light. So from today, after you listen to my talk, definitely you all will feel that at least early in the morning, you need to get up and then expose yourself to sunlight so that you get everything natural. Saying that, what is the next thing? Now, when you're looking at the light I was talking to you, right? Now there is something called the circadian rhythm, which is your master clock. We all have, like you see on the photo there, an orchestra is there, right? One person will be holding a stick and then he will be moving the stick in such a way that every instrument people, when he shows that particular stick, they will start the whatever instrument they are going to play. But imagine if all together, when they all play in a sync, what happens? It's a very beautiful conductor of the orchestra and you can listen to the music. But if they all work in from different timings and they don't coordinate with each other, it will be only a noise. So you won't be able to hear that particular music, and then you will definitely not like to sit in that area where it is noisy. That is why it is called noise. It's called noise pollution. Now, when that has a system, an orchestra has a system, we as human beings, when we were created, there is a circadian rhythm created by nature or God or whoever we created us. Definitely he has planned something and there is something for us to balance ourselves and then support the circadian rhythm. If you're not going to support your circadian rhythm, what will happen is it will just go a little heavy initially, but initially you may not find any problem, but later on, definitely you will start facing the problem. When you look at the circadian rhythm, we just go down on to the right side where you see it is a dim light melatonin production, which happens at 9 o'clock. Now, just imagine yourself in a desert. Okay, there are no artificial street lamps or anything there. You are in a desert. Now, what will happen? Sunrise will happen, then automatically sunset will happen around 6 or 6:30. And after that, it will become dark. And you don't have anything except the stars. Maybe there what you can do is probably you will light a fire in a wood, and then you will probably, for cooking and other purposes, you may use a firewood there. And even the fire, when you look at the color of the fire, it is something like reddish orange or orange fully. Now, this is actually soothing to our eyes. It's called warm light. If you look at the right now, what I'm using here is not the warm light. It's a bright daylight actually. In fact, we are not supposed to use bright daylight. See, the name itself is called bright daylight tubes. But why is that we all prefer to use a bright white light, and then ultimately we are telling our body that it is daytime. Now, if your body thinks that it is daytime, there are a lot of problems we are going to face. Now, melatonin secretion starts at 9 o'clock. Now, imagine automatically as it goes down, you see the midnight, and then later on around 2 o'clock, you are in a deep sleep. Then by 4:30 in the morning, what happens? Your body temperature also slowly starts cooling down. But once again, what happens? Your blood pressure will go down. Everything will be coming down early in the morning. But by 6 o'clock, what happens? Automatically, your blood pressure will rise, your temperature will rise. Melatonin secretion stops by 7:30 in the morning. It will stop. Why? Because by the time you will be awake and then it stops. Now, from the time you're awake and in 1 hour's time, maximum 2 hours, but 1 hour time, the melatonin will stop. Okay. For example, if you're waking up at around 4:30 in the morning, by maximum 5:30, 6 o'clock, your melatonin will stop secreting, and then whatever job it is supposed to do, it will clear. Now, what happens? Your bowel movements probably by 8:30, and then highest testosterone levels are at around 9 o'clock, and by 10 o'clock in the morning. This is only if you're following the circadian rhythm, you will be very, very alert in the early morning at around 10 o'clock. This is all in the nature's way of standard protocols. Okay. Now, when you look at the time of best coordination is in the afternoon around 2:30, and the fastest reaction time, suddenly around 3:30, your fastest reaction time. Anything, you will get up and then you will start working you will be able to do that. Why? Because that is the fastest reaction time. But many of you would notice that it is at this time, after 2 o'clock, we eat our food and then we all will be so drowsy and then sleepy. Now, how can you be in the fastest reaction? That means we are all actually gone against the nature and we have screwed up our own circadian rhythm, wherein we are actually supposed to be fastest reacting at that time and we'll be feeling sleepy. Now, what is happening? Why? Because we have actually changed the way we are actually handling our circadian rhythm. So saying that circadian rhythm plays a very, very important role. Now, circadian rhythm and circus, it has something in common, correct? Now, for a circus, right now, I think there is a British circus being prepared somewhere in Bukit Jalil or something. Now, if you see a circus, the tent of the circus, have you ever seen a square tent there? You don't never seen a square tent. It is always round. Now, why is it they always keep the thing round? Number one, there are a few things you need to understand that when you look at the circadian rhythm also, there is something like a circle. That means it goes and comes back. It goes and comes back. So now when you look at the circus, let's assume that the circus normally, they will start somewhere around 3 o'clock. There won't be any early morning shows in the circus. It will be probably 3 o'clock, 7 o'clock, and night 10 o'clock. Maximum is they will have 3 shows. Now, after the night show or the latest show around 11 or midnight, 12 o'clock, what will happen? The animals which come for the show, they need a rest, number one. Number two, the people who all came and performed, definitely they need rest. So what happens is for them to do the cleansing, for them to do the preparation for the next day and practice few things, they need some time. Now imagine if they're going to go 24 hours, what will happen? Automatically the circus cannot perform the way they are doing. The same way circadian rhythm also is something, it has to go and then rest for a while and then once again prepare itself, clean itself, everything, and then get up in the morning to do. Now, if you do not understand that you are supposed to do for your own body, then who else will look in for it? Nobody else can look for, or nobody else can work for you. But if you're so intelligent enough and so bothered about working for a person who pays you a peanut salary for you, and at the end of the day, what are you doing? You're working for someone, but this body is working for you. In what way are you honoring your body? I don't think any of us, most of us are actually abusing our. In fact, if there is a court for our own body, the body will definitely file a case against us saying that we are abusing the body, 100%. Right from the liver to the sleep to the heart, everybody will start fighting. Imagine that 50 trillion cells, they want to file a case against us. We are dead actually. We won't be able to do anything because the case will be very strong towards the body and the cells. But sad part is they don't do that. The only problem we all face is in the form of a disease. So what happens is both need proper resting and to restart the next day. And if you do not do that, there are a lot of other problems we will be facing in terms of diseases, in the terms of, your cortisol production, your breathing capacity, your blood pressure, your blood lipase, your DNA damage will happen, lipid peroxidation, protein oxidation, antioxidant will be very less. All these are all happening because your circadian rhythm is just imbalanced. If your circadian rhythm is imbalanced, there are a lot of diseases you will face. So from today, you need to change and start practicing. In the next 6 months, probably if you practice it, you will be able to just balance a little bit. So saying that, very, very important. We all need light and we all need to expose ourselves to light. Why? There is a necessity for the early morning vitamin D3, early morning melatonin, early morning cortisol production. All this happens in the daytime. Now, there is one thing happening, whether you understand it or not. We as a human body will interact with the environment. For example, as I told you, when you when you go to a desert where there is no artificial lighting and all, what happens when the sun goes down? There is no light there. When there is no light, automatically the message goes to your brain saying that, okay, it's right now, all the lights are off, it is night time. What you need to do? Start melatonin production, start filing system, start the sleep, start rejuvenating your cells, start cleansing your liver, cleansing your kidneys. All these instructions will automatically happen whether you like it or not. Now, if the body doesn't interact with the outside world, how is it going to function by itself? Because whatever is outside, it is there inside as well. Now, inside, it has to interact with the outside for it to balance itself. Now, for example, you're supposed to go to bed at 9 o'clock. You're not going to bed at 9 o'clock because of the LED lights and because of the late daylight tube lights we have. What happened? Your brain has been informed very clearly that the bright light is there. So definitely cannot sleep. You cannot sleep. That means the melatonin will not be produced. If melatonin is not produced, and if the system behind your brain also is not going to bring the information, you just imagine how much of heavy, how much of improper, how much of dysregulation is happening just because we are actually not following the circadian rhythm. For you to understand the circadian rhythm, I'm going to show you something. Okay, now in this, there is something called an auto gate system which is happening in your body. Now, whether it's a daylight or it is a sun, whether you are using a tube light or a bulb or a sunlight, when the light passes through your eyes, it goes back into your retina, and then from there, suprachiasma SCN there is a special nucleus in the brain, which in turn will inform the pineal gland. See, these are all messages. Automatically it will happen whether you like it or not. The moment you switch off the light, it will send a message saying that no more light. You are supposed to release the pineal gland, release the melatonin. Now, melatonin automatically will be released by the pineal gland. Now, for this, you need to switch off the light, right? You need to dim the light, right? If you don't dim the light, how the auto gate system will work? So whatever auto gate system the universe or our body has been manufactured for is all upside down now. So how are you going to change it? Unless you change it, nothing is going to change. But if you don't want to change, it's still fine. What will happen? You're going to face the situation according to your body's metabolic problems. What it faces, it will actually automatically create that problem. Now, here in this picture, for you to understand, we do have the this is the circadian rhythm. Okay, now this is a much more clearer picture. What you see is the circadian rhythm, and what you see in the blue side is the night time. On the left side, on the right and left, what you see blue color is our night time. The daytime is the circadian yellow color, which is basically corresponding to your daytime in the yellow color lower down. So 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Automatically it's the daytime, and later on the sun sets in and the nighttime sets in, right? Now, this is a reality of the universe. Whether you want it or not, this is happening day in and out naturally. So the shift of circadian rhythm happens automatically. The moment the lights off, the whole system starts working. We don't need to do anything. Now, if there is a shift, what you see in the lower on the right side here, for maintaining the master clock, if the circadian rhythm shifts to the right side, why? Because can you see the the computer, your mobile phones, after 6 o'clock or after 7 o'clock or after 8 o'clock, you're still using it. What happens is the message to the brain is it's still daylight. It's still daytime. So automatically no melatonin. So what happens is your own body clock system slowly moves towards the right side. That means you see on the right side, it is going down up to 10 o'clock. Circadian rhythm is still on there. That means the daylight for your body is still on until 10 o'clock. For some people, it will be until 12 o'clock. So what happens over a period of time when your circadian rhythm is imbalanced like this? What will happen? What you're supposed to do, for example, you will have insomnia. That means there is no sleep at night time. This is a very, very common problem most of us are facing. And you go to a doctor, the doctor will give you a sleeping tablet. Sleeping tablet is not the solution for your circadian rhythm. Very, very sorry. It doesn't work that way. But for many patients, they are so happy, doctor giving 2 tablets, they will put the tablet to go to sleep. Yes, but what is happening? You're supposed to wake up in the morning by 6 o'clock, by 4:30, 5 o'clock, or maximum by 6 o'clock. You're supposed to get up. Your moment you're supposed to wake up, you're not waking up. What happened? Hypersomnia. That means you will be sleeping in the morning until 9 o'clock, until 10 o'clock, until 12 o'clock, whatever the timing, according to your situation, you will be sleeping. But you are changing the circadian rhythm, which in turn is going to cause a lot of problem. And then finally you come to doctors like us. I can't help you. We won't be able to help you, but we would love to hear from you. Why? Because when you come, we can make some money. The hospitals will make money, the doctors make money, but you are actually getting into a problem because why? You didn't follow the circadian rhythm, which is a master clock. You actually change the master clock. The moment you change the master clock, everything goes heavy. And we won't be able to tell you what are the diseases you will get because of this imbalance in your circadian rhythm. We won't be able to tell you. It can vary from autoimmune diseases to so many other things you can get. So please be careful and start working on your biological clock. It's also called the biological clock, right? So if you are supposed to be awake and exposing to light in the morning, then the circadian rhythm is triggered. But if you're going to sleep in the morning and not wake up and then expose yourself to the sun in the morning, what happened? The sun rays is supposed to come and activate your vitamin D3. It's supposed to emit that far infrared and then start producing melatonin. Then automatically the melatonin which produced by the pineal gland has to be stopped. And the moment the pineal gland stops its melatonin, then your cortisol automatically starts popping up in your bloodstream. And then there are a lot of benefits by the cortisol hormone, which is produced by your own body. And it goes up, the peak of it. I'm going to show you that. Now, before I proceed to that, I need to tell you regarding the light, actually, what is the kind of light that is ideal for your night? What you need to use is, especially when you are like this, my glasses, what I'm using is there is a blue light prevention coating on the glass. It's available. Now, I think most of the spectacles who are all wearing, I think they give you a blue coating so that the blue light is blocked. Now, blue light, where did you see? You saw in the ultraviolet, the solar spectrum of light you saw. Where was the blue light? It is more in the ultraviolet side. It's almost blue in color. Now, what happens is if your light bulb is going to emit a lot of blue light, it's because of the daylight tubes you're buying. Automatically, the blue light will activate your block your melatonin. So you're supposed to use blue light blockers. And other than that, you would have heard warm light bulbs are available now. I think you all should use warm light bulbs. And of course, if there is a little bit of reddish tinge to your lights, your bulbs, and placed at the lower level. You know why? Because when you're, for example, I'm right now seeing here straight, right? But my tube lights are on there. So what happens is when the tube lights strike directly onto my eye, it goes to the lower part of eye, and that in turn will inform the brain that don't give melatonin, don't produce melatonin. So automatically there is a problem. That is why when you see in your bedroom, your lights all should be on the lower side. That means when you switch on the light, you should switch off the main tube lights and then switch on the light color lights, maybe yellow color or orange color lights, or mildly reddish color. And today, with all the innovation of the LED technology, you can actually change the color of the lights as well. This is where you need to, in your bedrooms, your light should be lower down. That means the light should be focused up. It shouldn't come directly onto your eyes. This is what you need to do. And other than that, if you see those days, like if you are doing an outdoor camping and all, they light the fire. What happens is it's a beautiful message to your brain saying that it is going to be night, and then slowly melatonin, and you're going to rest, and then you're going to fall asleep. This is what you're trying to tell if you're, but in today's world, what we are all doing is we are all using high floodlights as though it's like a daylight, and then automatically we are putting off every circadian rhythm into a switching off mode, and then thinking that it is a daytime, and your body thinks it is a daytime. What it is supposed to do at nighttime, it is going to do like a daytime. And if you look at the bulbs, today we have LED bulbs, right? There is more problems we are facing because of the LED bulb than the incandescent bulb, which we used to have previously. Have you ever seen the bulbs of those days? Even the brightest bulb we used to get is around 60 watts or 100 watts. That's, but the color was almost yellow in color, but that was bright enough. But today we are used to this kind of LED lights. But I would prefer that we all need to look forward to go back to your old incandescent bulbs, which will be definitely good for our health as well. And then our sleeping habits also, it is definitely a better situation. Now, coming back to the early morning waking up, what happens is when you wake up by 4:30 and then do all your breathing exercise, and then, you start exposing yourself to the sunrise in the morning. What happens between the 6 a.m. to 8 a.m. what happens is your cortisol level slowly starts increasing. That means your body circadian rhythm starts off. The cortisol increases. It will be around between 10 to 20 mcg per deciliter. But if by chance, okay, you see, our brain releases another chemical called adrenocortical hormone, which is in response to a threatening stimuli. That means you're angry, you want to hit someone, there is a stressful situation in your life. What happens is this cortisol is automatically released on. Normally, cortisol is supposed to be released in the morning, correct? But you get angry in the midnight, you fight with someone in the midnight. What happens? Automatically, you will release the cortisol for that situation, and it is circulating in your blood. So imagine if your early morning cortisol is very, very high. I wouldn't know how many of you all have checked your cortisol level, blood level. If there is an opportunity, please do check your cortisol levels, because that is a very, very important indicator of your circadian rhythm, whether it is normal, how is it, we will be able to know. So do check your cortisol levels, which plays a very, very important role in your healing process and your stressful condition. It is definitely plays a very, very important role. Now, just imagine if you are sleeping in the morning, will there be cortisol being produced? It won't be. So that means there will be a lot of healing and metabolic necessities where it needs cortisol. You don't produce cortisol because you're sleeping. Imagine you change your circadian rhythm. There is a lot of problems we will be facing because of the cortisol being not produced naturally, because you're sleeping. You're supposed to be awake, right? Your brain should be informed that, okay, now it is 6 o'clock in the morning and your cortisol has to be released. Now that you're sleeping in the morning, now what will happen? Your cortisol will not be produced. So definitely there will be a lot of problems you will be facing because of that situation. So what do you need to do? Wake up in the morning, 30 seconds. You're supposed to expose yourself to sunlight. Very, very important. If you are not exposed to sunlight, it's still okay. Get up in the morning, go to the ground there, whichever is nearest ground. Many of us don't even want to go out in the open space and then expose ourselves. In fact, the research has been found that even the trees, you are under the shade, you are under the shade of a tree, and the sun rays is coming early in the morning, still the far infrared rays will come onto your skin, and then you will be able to absorb that particular energy. See, ultimately, it is an energy you will be able to absorb. So at least wake up in the morning, go down. If there is direct sunlight, please expose yourself between 30 seconds to 30 minutes. Maximum is 30 minutes is good enough for us, but before 9 a.m. But other than that, waking up early is your choice to maintain a circadian rhythm. It's up to you. But if you're feeling you're waking up late because of whatever excuses we give under the sun, you are actually creating a problem for you. You may eat a very balanced diet. You may go for exercise in the evening. You may do anything in there. But what has happened is if you're waking up late in the morning by 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock, there are a lot of problems you will face in the form of immune system. You will fall sick very frequently. This is very, very important. And your body will not be able to adapt for any change you are giving. It will automatically hit you, and then automatically you will fall sick. If you're going to get flu, it's still okay. You're going to get a sore throat, still okay. But imagine if you're going to get COVID, it's going to be a little problematic. What if you're going to get some cancer? It's going to be a major problem. Now, of course, if all this practicing of being, balanced and doing everything, and still you have cancer, maybe it's because of genetic, we do not know. It's still okay. But what we can do is we still can be able to handle the disease because you have had a very disciplined lifestyle, and that in turn will definitely give you an edge for healing purposes. So saying that, maintaining your circadian rhythm and the reality of outside is the key for your healthy lifestyle. It is a very, 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 very important. Maintaining a proper circadian rhythm plays a very, very important role. Why? Because the inner universe will be communicating with the external universe, and the external universe is already there. You don't need to go and change anything. It's only you who have to change the inner universe, because the inner universe is the one which has to adapt to the outer universe. Outer universe will not adapt to you. Please remember. See, we all have been, in this universe, there are a lot of hanky-panky things we all do, and then the wrong things we all do. But we don't understand that the inner self is what you need to look into, not the outer self. Outer self is already there existing. If you're looking at outside, and outside, nothing much can be got from outside. Nothing will happen. But if you start looking inside, and you start following the circadian rhythm, and then everything starts falling in place. Just imagine you don't have stress in life. Your cortisol will be normal. Just imagine you wake up early in the morning. Everything will be normal. Your cortisol production will be normal. You go back to bed at the right time. Automatically, your melatonin is released. We are just talking about only one or two hormones, right? The cortisol and melatonin. There are hundreds of other hormones in our body. But if the circadian rhythm can be balanced and maintained, everything starts falling in place. You don't need to do anything. It will take care of itself. You will be taken care. You don't need to do anything. Your body is so intelligent. Your body can work and do anything you want under the sun, provided you try to balance, and then you give a little time for your body and understand how it works. So please look into it and then balance yourself. Now, saying that, water, 8 glass of water, 300 ml each, is approximately around 2,400 ml. But today's this one, like this particular system was talked even probably 20-30 years ago. Also, they were telling 1 glass of water is 200 ml, and per day only 8 glass of water was necessary. But today it's just not 300. Maybe you need 400 ml of water. Why I say that very clearly, please listen to it. Number one, the pollution outside. If you're living in a city, the pollution outside is quite high. The humidity is quite high. The food what you eat is a lot of oxidative stress creating to your body. So automatically you need more water, right? If there is a lot of oxidative stress involved in your cell level, automatically there will be a lot of metabolic waste. So who is going to clean that? For that, you need more water, isn't it? If you're going to drink only 8 glasses of water, it is not going to be sufficient. And that too with 300 ml, it's only 2,400. But I would say an average 50 to 60 kgs people should be drinking average around 2,500 to 3,000 ml of water is good enough. But once you follow this basic step of balancing your circadian rhythm, balancing of drinking the amount of water for balanced journey, there are infinite possibilities for you to live on earth with multiple ways of you can earn money, you can live a healthy life, you will live a very blissful, joyful, a life full of contentment, compassion, and you can pursue your passion with infinite possibilities only when you balance your journey of life with the inner universe and the outer universe. When there is a synchronization happening, just like an orchestra, you will be able to lead a healthy lifestyle. So saying that, water balance is very, very important. Why? The moment you have dehydration, you will face a lot of problem, because maintaining your engine, that means I'm talking about once again your radiator, coolant. You need water, isn't it, for the car? The same way your body also needs water for it to cool down the system. For example, if you have an allergic manifestation, what you need to just drink water, it will cool it down. You have fever, just drink a lot of water. Immediately your fever will start coming down. So there are a lot of things, like I have seen in my hospitals, whenever a patient comes in and then they say they have fever, we start with an IV line, and then 500 ml of the first 500 ml goes inside, the patient's fever will go away. But unless the virus infection is quite serious, then the fever will be there. But most of the time, the moment water goes in, hydration takes place, your body gets balanced. And the first organ for you to cry for help is your kidneys. Whenever there is a water shortage, the first thing is you will start seeing your urine is concentrated, less of urine, and automatically your kidney is telling, hello, sir, please do something. So you need to drink sufficient amount of water. And imagine today's world, there are a lot of people having kidney issues, their creatinine levels are high, and they don't. And the moment you have a creatinine level high, the first thing doctor will say, reduce the amount of water. The moment you reduce the amount of water, already your body is in dehydration. What will happen? You will start facing more problems. 100% a person, once kidney gets a problem, the water, of course, the doctors will tell you to drink less. But on the other side, how are you going to complement your hydration? You have to take bath, isn't it? So that's why terahertz bath, terahertz water bath will be definitely a better choice. Even terahertz water, when you drink little by little, definitely that will hydrate your cells. So there are a lot of other ways we can hydrate our body by spraying water on the body. Even if you're a kidney failure patient, doesn't matter. At least spray the water on your body's skin, wherein it can get absorbed and then thereby give your cellular hydration. Among the water available in the market, today we have something called terahertz resonated water, a structured water. We can get it at an easy situation where you just resonate it for 3 minutes and you get the water resonated. And after that, when you drink it, you get a lot of good benefits by drinking this water. Why? Because of the molecular structure of the water, which is broken down into a smaller molecule. Now, you'd have heard of nanomolecules. You'd have normally the nanomolecules are all measured in terms of daltons. They will talk about daltons, 100 dalton, 200 dalton, 300 dalton, 1000 dalton, 3000 dalton. If you're talking about protein molecule, is almost 3000 and above. That's the size of the molecule of protein. But if you're talking about peptides, which is much more smaller molecule, which is below 1000 is a peptide. But below 600 to 500 or 400 is oligopeptide. That is much, much smaller. Even below that is still an oligopeptide. So in that way, when the water molecule is smaller, the absorption is much, much easier and better. So what are the benefits of drinking a resonated water? It's very simple for people to understand. Because of the molecule of the water is so small, it's easily absorbed by the cell, and then the transportation of this water molecule is much, much more easier. And there are a lot of other benefits. Is I think when I go to the next slide, I'll be able to explain to you the benefits is the properties of resonated. What are the properties of resonated water? There are quite a good number of 12 benefits you get. It's an antibacterial, antiviral, antifungal, antioxidant, anti-radiation. Viscosity is minus 680. That means it's like a fully synthetic engine oil, what you use for your vehicle. It's a very smooth, slippery. And when you use that, especially when you use a little bit of soap or a detergent, and when you rub your hands, the lather formation is very, very high, more. So that means when you use a terahertz water and use a soap to wash your face, the cleansing process is much, much easier. How many of you would have used the same to clean the oil of your kitchen? And that is a demo where a lot of people will show you just pour oil and then take terahertz water, spray it, and then you wipe it up, becomes clean. So same way when you're using on your face, use a terahertz water and then you use a what is that cleanser. It becomes very, very clean. So like that, because of the viscosity, the benefits are multifold, and the angulation of the water molecule is between 106 to 109. So thereby it reduces the hardness of the water. That means it becomes a soft water. Soft water is good for your body. And you know the difference between hard water and soft water. Hard water, the lather formation by the soap will be very, very less. And you need to use too much of water. That is when you can clean the whatever you're using. Whereas if you're using water, soft water, it will be much more easier for you to clean. And other than that, when you're looking at the molecular size, is just 2 nanometers. And then when you look at the linear arrangement of the water molecule, is better hydration because it can penetrate into your cells much easily. The energy is high because I've been doing the research. I think you saw my video, which has been posted before my talk, showing you the vibration. Definitely the vibration is very, very high. As long as the vibration is good, definitely we can drink. It can be water, it can be of fruits, it can be of food items. Definitely you can drink, because this is what I have been doing a research for a very, very long time. And the good news is it can be boiled and the shelf life is quite long, and it helps your DNA to rectify the wrong epigenetic expression, which has been wrongly loaded previously. It can change when you drink this water continuously. There will be a lot of benefits. Now, what do? You need to take responsibility, isn't it? What you need to do? Sleep early, number one. As early as possible, whatever time you can, because I can't be dictating when you need to go to sleep. You know pretty well. Wake up early. Very, very important. Whatever you do, wake up early. Go out and see the sun. Expose yourself. At least weekly 2-3 times, expose yourself to the sun rays. Let your cortisol increase naturally. Let your cortisol increase naturally. Okay, this is also very, very important. Now, other than that, if you're using, stop using bright light at night. Very, very important. Use warm lights wherever possible. Have a warm light, and the daylight, if it is after 6 o'clock, don't use daylight, use a warm light, because prepare yourself, prepare your brain to let know that it's going to be night and then you're going to sleep. Reduce your stress. One of the easiest stress buster I always tell is breathing technique. Follow a proper breathing. Inhale 5 seconds. Hold the breath 5 seconds. Exhale for 10 seconds. 5, 5, and 10. This is the simplest way to reduce your stress. One of the easiest way is breathing technique. Then maintain your inner circadian rhythm and the outer reality in balance. See, outer reality, we are not talking about the outer circadian rhythm. Have you seen this? I am talking about inner circadian rhythm and an outer reality. Why I say the outer reality is, outer reality is a fixed situation where we don't know when what will happen. It can rain suddenly, it can be cloudy suddenly, it can be sunny suddenly. But whatever said and done, the sun rising will be at that particular time. Nobody can go and change it. Nobody can stop the sunset. It will happen. And nobody can stop the stars twinkling in the sky there. All this, nobody can stop the moon. All these are all natural phenomena, which is a reality. So once you understand that reality and the balance, your life becomes a much, much, much more beautiful. So saying this, I should be able to close down, because already I think it's almost 1 hour. Thank you very much. And until I see you next week, and bless you all in abundance, I'm going to come out with the part 3, because I have left a little more detailed situation for the part 3. And that is also related with your sleep. So until I see you next week, thank you very much. And thank you, Brian, for this wonderful platform, for giving me this opportunity. And I hope every one of you down there enjoy today's sleep and water, and have a wonderful. Thank you very much.